Okay, welcome everybody to our board meeting on this beautiful sunny afternoon in St. John's, Newfoundland. 27 degrees, I say proudly. And thank you for being here. I want to welcome all the trustees in the room, all the senior staff and staff from the district. I'd also like to welcome our ASL interpreters, Debbie and Dana. And everybody who is viewing from home on the live stream, you're very, very welcome. I want to apologize at the start for a short delay. We had some technical difficulties which we were able to sort, and we're excited to be here with you today. So we're going to start off our agenda today, and our first order of business is the adoption of our agenda. But before I put forward a motion to accept the agenda as presented, we do have one addition to the agenda. So I'm going to turn it over now to Trustee Grandy for a little explanation of that addition.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'd like to add the election of a vice chair to the agenda for today's meeting.
Okay, so do we have any nominations for vice chair for our board?
I'd like to nominate Trustee Mahoney.
Trustee Mahoney, okay, excellent. Okay, any further nominations from around the table for the position of vice chair? Okay, seeing none, I'll do a third call. Any further nominations for vice chair for our board? Okay, seeing none, I guess our position has been acclaimed. So, okay, so first of all, we'll call for a motion now to accept our new vice chair, deputy vice chair. So, can I get a motion?
I'll motion. Michelle Jewar.
Thank you, Trustee Jewar. And can I get a seconder?
I'll second. Elizabeth Lane.
Okay, and as I mentioned, seeing that there are no other names brought forward, we will now welcome Trustee Mahoney as our vice chair. And based on that, and given that our board composition has changed a little bit, I think it would be appropriate to do some introductions, to go around the table. So my name is Dr. Greg O'Leary, and I am the Deputy Minister of Education. It's the Department of Education, obviously, so I'd like to move around this way.
Michelle Jewar, Trustee, Deputy Minister of Finance.
Elizabeth Lane, Trustee, Secretary to the Treasury Board Secretariat.
Trustee Corey Grandy, Deputy Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure.
Good afternoon, everybody. Trustee Dennis Mahoney, I'm the Deputy Minister of Justice and Public Safety, Deputy Attorney General, and now Vice Chair of this board. Thank you.
Okay, on the staff side, Mr. Chair, Tony Stack, Chief Executive Officer, Director of Education, Newfoundland, Labrador English School District.
Good afternoon. Ed Walsh, Associate Director of Education, Programs and Human Resources.
Good afternoon. Terry Hall, Chief Financial Officer and Assistant Director for Corporate Services.
And we have Elaine Cross here, my Executive Assistant, and taking minutes for this meeting.
Sorry, awesome. So welcome to everybody. Again, welcome to Debbie and Dana, our ASL interpreters. We're very grateful to have you guys here this afternoon. So given that now, we're going to ask for a motion to accept the agenda now with that addition. So at this time, can I get a motion to accept?
Trustee Mahoney.
All right. Thank you very much. So moved. Seconder?
I'll second. Corey Grandy.
Thank you, Trustee Grandy. Appreciate that very much. So carried. And then we'll move on now to item number 3, which is our consideration of the minutes. So as our second order of business, we're going to bring forward our minutes from September 25th, 2021. And at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve as to form the minutes.
Trustee Mahoney moves as to form of the minutes for September 25th, 2021.
Can I get a seconder?
Trustee Lane will second that motion.
Thank you very much. So any discussion?
If I may, Mr. Chair, as part of the staff, recognizing that this is a completely new board, all staff members here attest to the fact that these are accurate reflection of the minutes of the proceedings of September 25th, 2021 board meeting minutes.
Okay, with that, the minutes are accepted. And now we'll move on. We're moving right along, moving really fast here today. We'll move to number 4. Our item is business arising. And at this time, we do not have any new business arising. Number 5, we're going to move forward to our director's report. And that would be, I'm going to turn it over to you now, Mr. Stack.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A short presentation. Director's report, August 31st, 2022. I'll be covering the following topics. The district delivered a U-Learn summer learning series for NLASD educators. This was a 2-week virtual conference from August 8th to August 18th that provided an opportunity to NLASD educators to participate in workshops, discussions on best practice in the delivery of educational services to students. There were more than 40 sessions that were made available, and to highlight some of the areas, it was Introduction to Deep Learning Certification, Trans and Gender Diverse Students, Background and Evidence-Based Practices for Word Reading, Infusing Indigenous Culture in Teaching, Engaging Families in Mathematics. And it's note that these sessions are held during the August period when teachers are on leave. So it was really pleasant to know that several hundred showed up to participate in some 60 sessions. Really speaks to the commitment of our teachers and our educators in the Newfoundland Labrador English School District. So quite pleased with this series of for educators. Just to highlight our September 2022 efforts, the district continues to welcome immigrants and newcomers to the province, supporting students arriving from Afghanistan and Ukraine. It is expecting we will receive anywhere from 300 to 500 immigrants from these regions in the course of the next number of months. Additionally, there is a huge increase in international students this year compared to other years, as well as those arriving under work permits and study permits. So we are quite prepared to deal with this influx and quite pleased to host these individuals in our district. The province continues to experience a shortage of teachers, and that is impacting our teacher recruitment efforts. However, while these issues create challenges for the district in the upcoming school year, they will experience significant pressures, particularly in the metro area. These include pressures in staffing, housing, busing, and infrastructure, and some families may eventually move to rural areas of the province, and that may impact the delivery of our English as an additional language. In terms of COVID-19, we're starting the year very much like we ended the last school year, and that is a public health recommendation, given that the public health emergency is officially over, of a strong recommendation for continued mask wearing, to keep up to date with vaccinations, and if there's any new or emerging health conditions, to stay home when ill. So those measures are in place, and again, we're encouraging that as we start the year, and hopeful that that we're starting to move forward with pandemic issues. However, we are prepared at any point to reintroduce measures should they be necessary. Focus now on the annual report for last year for the period July 1st to June 30th of 2022. These were the 3 pillars in our strategic plan: student engagement and success, equity, health and well-being, and operational effectiveness. This is the 2nd year of the strategic plan. It continues to build on the work undertaken in the areas of literacy, numeracy, mental health, technology, enhanced organizational and financial processes and accountability, Safe and Caring Schools Initiative, and digital citizenship. It continues to support school communities through the school development model to enhance student engagement and success, well-being, and health. The plan focused on student engagement through the school development model, a collaborative model that engages students, parents, and student councils to enhance student engagement and success. We continued our efforts this year to support school communities, enhance student engagement and success, health and well-being. There are 7 determinants of this model: instructional practice, collective efficacy, optimal learning environments, wellness and positive relationships, evidence-based decisions, assessment practices, and teachers as learners. The district continues to work with schools throughout the 2021-2020 school year to support understanding and implementation of the school development model. The following initiatives were undertaken to support student engagement. In the area of professional development meetings, professional learning was ongoing on the school development model throughout the year. The district partnered with the Department of Education to enhance deeper understanding of the model, its implementation, and interplay with responsive teaching and learning policy and deep learning. Universal supports to schools were done through a tiered approach. Tier 1, universal key messages to all schools to assist with learning. Tier 2, direct assistance to schools in the development of their school development plan. And Tier 3, intensive intervention to schools identified as needing support due to a variety of factors such as trauma, challenges, or low student engagement that negatively impacted the culture of schools. The district continued its focus on implementing and supporting new pedagogies for deep learning to support school development. NPDL sessions included focus on the 4 elements of deep learning: learning partnerships, learning environments, leveraging the digital environment, and reforming pedagogical practices, as well as the 6 C's of deep learning: citizenship, character, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration and communication. The district continued with 93 pilot schools involved in new pedagogies for deep learning, with the schools teams participating in learning sessions throughout the year. In addition to the pilot schools, a multitude of deep learning continued throughout the province, with a number of classrooms and/or schools embracing deep learning in their practice. One particular project that we're very happy with was the Lead Learners Project. The Lead Learners Project is a teacher-led, collaborative, self-directed learning program that provides an opportunity for experienced educators to enhance their professionalism and skills, extend their learning, and share their expertise with others. The project supported teacher leadership, capacity building, and a shared coherence. It provided opportunities to build networks and structure to further operational effectiveness, promote health and well-being, and facilitated the sharing of exemplary practices to the benefit of all students while enhancing student engagement and success. The LLP is an application-based project using one or more of the following themes: deep learning framework, collaborative inquiry, autism action plan, universal design for learning, and social and emotional learning. As well, we had responsive teaching and learning and Indigenous education. The district continues to support student engagement and success through the expansion of the Positive Action for Student Success program. The PASS program targets students at risk for not graduating from school and students who have recently left high school without graduating, providing them with options to obtain a high school diploma. Students are referred to the program by a teacher, guidance counselor, or administrator. It includes 3 areas that support a student support teacher who works with students to encourage them to continue their high school education. These areas include, firstly, credit rescue. So students that are at risk of failing a course, this is what this is designed for. And students are provided with an opportunity to rescue that course they are failing by receiving extra help from that SST. This can include receiving extra time to work on projects or assignments, extra teaching support, or supplemental assignments. The second area is credit recovery, and that would be for students who were not successful in doing a course. Students can recover that course they previously were not successful on through working with that SST to identify what is required to earn the credit and develop a plan to complete the course. We also had some new course registration under that program where students might have been missing a required course to graduate. So students could register for that specific course and then again receive supports from the SST to realize that course and then successfully complete high school. Under the Equity, Health, and Well-being pillar, the district continued collaboration with a plethora of organizations to enhance diversity and inclusion. These include, but are not limited to, those that are noted on the slide. We had a number of testimonials from some of these partners, and I will play one for the benefit of trustees and those viewing.
Hello, my name is Heidi Dixon. I'm the Business Development Coordinator here at First Light. I've been really pleased with our work with NLESD over the past year. Our main focus this year was our Orange Shirt Day project, which was a massive success. The project saw a collaboration with NLESD, CBC, teachers, volunteers, First Light staff. Everyone really pulled together to make that project a success. The project saw resources, lesson plans, videos, read-alongs, getting out into schools all across the province and educating students about the history and impacts of the residential school system. This education is so important, and being able to bring it to so many students at so many different ages is key to working towards cultural humility, not only within the school system, but for our province as a whole. We really look forward to working even more with NLESD in the new year, and we can't wait to see what else we're able to achieve.
So we really appreciate that partnership with First Light. Continuing with the pillar of equity, health, well-being, Indigenous education is very important to us. The district has implemented many initiatives that demonstrate its commitment to enhancing awareness of Indigenous culture, traditions, knowledge, and languages to build respect and application and appreciation for Indigenous peoples in our province and throughout Canada. These initiatives laid a foundation to increase awareness and support the act of reconciliation to honor Indigenous peoples. September 30th last year was the first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, and it was recognized by the province and NLESD, as it will be this year. Again, under the Equity, Health, and Well-being area, in preparation for that Orange Shirt Day and to enhance the learning, we prepared a guide, an educator's guide to residential schools in Newfoundland and Labrador commemorating Orange Shirt Day. It was developed by educators here in this province to support teaching and learning of residential schools in Newfoundland and Labrador, and it is available as an online resource. The guide acknowledges the history of residential schools and their impact on Indigenous peoples. The district collaborated with our Indigenous learning partners and authors of both texts. Reflections from Them Days, a residential school memoir from Nunatsiavut by Nellie Winters, and A Long Journey, Residential Schools in Labrador and Newfoundland by Andrea Proctor, throughout the development of this guide. The district is also working on an anti-racism action plan, an equity lens, and anti-racism policy in collaboration with the district's Anti-Racism Advisory Committee, which is formed from a number of members from diverse communities throughout Newfoundland and Labrador. Switching now to the organizational effectiveness pillar, the district continued to enhance financial management and control practices during the reporting period, building on the work undertaken over the past several years. A new financial system, Kayenta, was purchased and configured, and training and testing completed by the end of June 2021. The system went live last July 1st, 2021, and is in place for the 2021-2020 school year. It's a significant milestone for the district and schools. Kayenta is a fully integrated financial management system designed for school districts that provide more robust automated audit trail and accountability. Functionality is expected to make processes more efficient for all users, both at the district and at the individual school level. Phase 1, Kayenta Financials, was launched July 5th, 2021. Phase 2, the integration of the Kayenta Payroll and Human Resource Systems, was also launched in July 2021 and is scheduled to go live by this January 2023. Overall end result will be a more efficient and much needed modern end-to-end enterprise solution that manages the education system of the province. Even with the challenges and additional work of navigating a pandemic, the team is on schedule and on target with this project. The district also introduced the bus planner last year, and it is a parent web portal. Bus Planner is a school bus scheduling and routing software. The parental portal enables parents to see their child's transportation eligibility, and if eligible, their transportation schedule, including bus route, bus stop location, and drop-off and pickup times. We currently have 24,000 parents who have created an account. So one of the big thrusts, of course, last year was professional learning. It continued on deep learning. During the pandemic, our district program staff, over 100 district-level lead learners, focused on collaboration through monthly collaboration days that focused on building capacity and developing coherence. So all programs work was set aside, and on that day, these 100-plus folks gathered virtually and in small groups. The sessions, while taking place virtually, also included that face-to-face component to some degree. The district has seen evidence of enhanced relationship, leadership in our schools, educators' mindset shifting, and instructional and assessment practices changing. Collective efficacy is becoming more and more visible as we have many educators seeing the pandemic through the lens of silver linings versus a deficit lens. No matter how well we have persevered throughout the pandemic, it still has been a challenging year, and we acknowledge that. And we used the Defy Pandemic Gravity article to design the May Collaboration Day as we closed out last year. In terms of infrastructure, the schools that were announced, new school construction for budget 2022, we have Henry Gordon Academy, Cartwright, a school in Kenmount Terrace, St. John's, a school in Portugal Cove, and St. Philip's, and a school in Dorset Collegiate. A little bit more on that. Henry Gordon Academy. A replacement was requested. It originated as far back as the previous school district. The layout and overall oversized building is really inaccessible in most areas. It's more important to have a smaller, more modern building to serve the community needs. There is a 1990s era community gym built on the site and may be mutually benefit to the town to incorporate this with the new school building. Similar models were used in Charlottetown and Gander. The site is large enough to accommodate existing and new school currently, with the old school being a possible parking lot in the future or a playfield afterwards. A replacement request for Larcall Academy originated with the prior school district. Kenmount Terrace, circled in the red here, is a growth area that is in the existing Larcall catchment area. Site selection needs to be undertaken. There are several moving parts related to this, and those include the relationship between the feeder schools, some population pressures in some of those feeder schools, and we're going to realign that system as part of this new construction. Dorset Collegiate, this is an approved concept. It was in 2020, the NLSD engaged in consultations, and the community again endorsed this strategy. Unlike the others, this is not a new school per se, but a new K-6 wing on an existing 7-12 school, which will result in the closure of Brian Peckford Primary and Green Bay South Academy eventually. And these were endorsed through board motions in the past. As part of the extension, the 4 modulars would also be removed ultimately. And the final site was Portugal Cove St. Philip's, and that was also announced in Budget 2022. Site selection is underway, and analysis as to options with consultation to follow will proceed in due course as we enter the next school year. Mr. Chair, subject to questions from you or trustees, that is the director's report.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for the report, and really good to see particularly some of the good work of our educators and our students and our teams. Any discussion on the report around the table? Any thoughts? Hey, Tony, I really appreciate the effort that's gone into it from you and your whole team. And if no further discussion, we'll move on to number 6 on our agenda, which is committee reports. There are no committee reports at this time. So we'll move on to number 7, which is new business. So our first item under new business is 7.1, and that's the Education Foundation report, January 28th, 2022. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Terry Hall.
Thank you, Chair. You have these updates in your package, but I'd just like to take a moment to give trustees an update on the activities of the Education Foundation. On January 28, 2022, the board of the foundation connected, and there was one item, and that was to approve the audited financial statements for the foundation for December 31st, 2020. It was a clean audit, and the foundation operated as expected, and the auditors provided a clean report. At that meeting, the board accepted the statements and approved for submission.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hall. Greatly appreciate it. 7.2, keeping with Mr. Hall now, the NLISE reports, November 12th, 2021 and January 28th, 2022.
Thanks again, Chair. Again, an update on our international student entity that operates under the district. The district works with a number of local international agents that welcome international students from all over the world to come to do some education here and experience Newfoundland culture. Some of those fees actually stay with the school, so it helps benefit the schools. A little of those fees actually stay in this entity, and the district tries to use those funds to help our schools move along some initiatives, such as some updated IT in their schools to be able to provide good technology for students. This particular update on November 12, 2021, we thought it appropriate. We did give a grant to the Association for New Canadians to help support the government initiative with all of the families coming in. So we provided a grant to help with some school supplies for when the kids were coming to school. We bought some WeVideo software for our entire student population to use. It aligned with our deep learning initiative to get them more into using technology and being more creative with their education and more hands-on. And of course, as was in the director's report, we did continue to advance our deep learning initiative and our Good at Life, Good at Learning initiative. And we took advantage of an online seminar that we normally wouldn't be able to send all of our administrators and a number of teachers to if it was live, but it was online, so we took advantage, and it was exceptional PD that we sponsored out of some of this money. And again, as you'll notice, all these initiatives reach right across the district. It's not isolated to a certain pocket. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That's great to hear. Terry, before we move on, any questions or any discussion, comments on either of the reports that Mr. Hall has brought forward? Great initiatives again. Really appreciate the overview. Very helpful. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to 7.3. Again, we'll stay with Mr. Hall. And this one is going to be a motion around school naming for Paradise Intermediate. But before we do that, I'll give you to give a little overview for us, if you would.
Sure. Thank you. The district has an established policy on naming or renaming of a school. So our new school in Paradise opened its doors and welcomed students in September of 2021. So during that year, and as we got towards the end of the first year open, the school principal and school council did indeed undertake the initiative to put an actual formal name onto the school. They did confirm in a letter that they followed our policy. They engaged students and the community for some recommendations. They gathered those recommendations, made sure the names were in line with our policy guidelines, went back out looking for people to vote and give an opinion as to the one they would like. It came back, and they have submitted that they would like the board to accept the name of Paradise Intermediate for the new grades 6 to 9 intermediate school that's in Paradise. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Greatly appreciate it. Before I request a motion or put this to a vote, I'm just wondering if there's any questions, clarifications, any discussion around the table. I think you've laid it out perfectly, Mr. Hall, but I just wanted to give the opportunity for anyone around the table who had any questions or needs any clarifications. Okay. If that's the case, then I'll request a motion to approve the new name.
Trustee Lane, I will motion to approve the new name.
Thank you very much. So moved by Trustee Lane. Seconder?
Trustee Jewer.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, we'll call it to a vote. All those in favor? Those opposed? Abstentions? Okay, seeing none, thus carried. All right, thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to 7.4. Again, we'll stay with Mr. Hall, and if you might want to give us a little overview before we put this one to a motion on property transactions.
Thanks again, Chair. Yes, this is in your package, but anytime the district finds itself with surplus land or properties that we no longer need for educational purposes, before they become liabilities to government and the district, we try to dispose of them. There's really three mechanisms. We'll do tender or a real estate agent to try and dispose. There's times that we also, if a municipality would like to use it and they can use it for community, we'll work with them to do a transfer for nominal values. And some of our properties and structures have denominational interest. So there's a third mechanism where we discuss with the denomination that has interest and determine, their desire to acquire the property back or an agreement that will dispose. So they're really the three mechanisms that you will see in your package. Today, we do have a number of properties that are in various stages of disposition that we would like board approval to continue on, and one acquisition of a small remainder of a piece of land that's attached to the land in Paradise where we just built our new Paradise Intermediate. So the properties for disposition today are Bayvert Primary. This particular one is an RCEC Section 84 property. The actual structure has been demolished, and this particular one is just to return the land back to the RCEC as per the agreement. Douglas Academy in Lapoille is a school that was closed. We have surveys complete, and we're looking for permission to continue with the disposal through a tender process. We have a school in Granbury that's been closed a long while. It is a resettled community. However, we have advised the potential buyer of that, and they would like to proceed. H.L. Strong Academy is another vacant school, no longer required, that was closed, and we do have a potential buyer for that piece of property as well. Our Lady of Labrador in West St. Modeste, there is a buyer who would like to acquire that property, and we have surveys and paperwork in place, so we'll be looking for approval of the board to complete that sale. A piece of land in Brownsdale, which was the site of the former E.J. Pratt School. The school itself was demolished a number of years ago. It does have United Church interest. However, the United Church does not want to actually take ownership back of the full land, so we have agreed we're going to sell it and split the proceeds. And a piece of land in near Whitburn Elementary that's access to any property that we need in the school. There is a resident who has put in a bid that they would like to acquire it so they can acquire a piece of landlocked land that they have. And again, it does not impede our school, and it is access to our school operations, so for permission for that. That's all of the dispositions. And as I said, we have one acquisition to be approved today as well, which is a small piece of land to complete the total package in Paradise, where we completed the Paradise Intermediate that we worked with, of course, government to make sure that was all in order. So we'll be looking for permission to complete that acquisition as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. I just want to commend you on the great overview, but also the packages you gave us, the breakdown in our pre-meetings. Really appreciate it. We feel like we're really understand what's going on, so I appreciate that, your time and your effort on that. Before we put this to a motion to approve these property transactions, we'll do these as a group as we've decided in advance. I do want to give the opportunity for anyone around for any questions, any discussion, any clarification that anyone needs. I know we've had an opportunity to look at and discuss, but I just wanted to give it in a public forum, any opportunity for anyone to do so. Okay. So I guess I'll request a motion at this time to approve these property transactions as a group.
Motion to approve, Trustee Grandy.
So moved by Trustee Grandy. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. A seconder?
Seconded, Trustee Mahoney.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Okay, I guess we'll vote on the motion. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Abstentions? Seeing none, thus carried. Appreciate it. Okay, moving right along to number 7.5 on our agenda. I'm now going to turn it over to Mr. Ed Walsh to give us an overview of the policy amendment around a criminal records screening vulnerable sector check.
Thank you, Chair. For context, the proposal or the recommendation that's being brought forward today is fairly straightforward, but important as well in context. The criminal records screening and vulnerable sector check policy of the district, which is named HR 806, talks about the obligation for employees, all employees, post-secondary students, private contractors, including their employees, especially those who may be in situations where they're alone with students as a part of their employment, to provide a satisfactory criminal records check from a local police authority prior to the commencement of their duties. Along with that, those who are in a position of authority or trust towards children are required to provide a vulnerable sector query as well. The change to the policy is specific to the obligation of employees to self-report, and this is contained inside of Policy Directive 17. Currently, that policy directive states that an employee of the district subject to a criminal investigation charged with or convicted of a criminal offense shall self-report that offense to their supervisor immediately. The recommendation for your consideration today is to change the obligation to self-report to their supervisor to self-report that that they are subject to a criminal investigation, have been charged or convicted with a criminal offense to the Human Resources Division. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Appreciate it very much. And as I said to Mr. Hall, thank you for giving us advanced copy, chance to consider this. Again, though, before we move to a motion on this matter, for this policy amendment, I'll give everyone an opportunity to ask any questions, seek any clarifications, or have any discussion that we feel might be necessary. Okay, seeing that everyone is satisfied, we'll put this to a motion. So we're going to request a motion for this policy amendment.
Motion, Trustee Jewer.
So moved by Trustee Jewer. Thank you very much. Can I get a seconder?
Second that, Trustee Grandy.
Thank you, Trustee Grandy. Appreciate that. Okay, all those in favor? Those opposed? Abstentions? Seeing none, thus carried. Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Appreciate it very much. Okay, we'll move on now to number 8 on our agenda, which is correspondence sent to the districts. I'll ask again around the table, does anyone have any questions regarding agenda items 8 or 9? Again, I appreciate very much from the district opportunity to have an advanced copy of all of this. Okay, so hearing none, before I, that's it, pretty quick on our first meeting, so I appreciate it very much. Before I ask for a motion to adjourn, I just wanted to say a thank you to everyone who helped with getting this meeting going, everyone who gave their time today. Great appreciation for the interest and involvement of all those online, as well as our interpreters that are here, our trustees and all the staff, and just on a personal level to say how excited I am to be here and to be working together. So, okay, can I get a motion to adjourn our meeting?
Trustee Lane, I move to adjourn the meeting.
Can I get a seconder?
Seconded, Trustee Mahoney.
Thank you. All in favor? Those against? Okay, and abstentions? Okay, well, thank you, everybody. That brings us to an end of our meeting, and we will see you next time. Thank you.